Hey everyone, and welcome back to my countdown to Halloween. So today is day 25, and today is about anthology horror films. One of my favorites. I think I mentioned a few times before just how much I actually really enjoy horror anthologies. I think because it's, obviously it's a bunch of short films put together into a feature. But I think that's also what makes them special because, not every story needs to be like, 90 minutes or more. And there have been so many over the years that have been done either by a sole filmmaker who's sort of made one film with multiple stories, or there have been ones that have brought in several filmmakers to do different stories for a film. Obviously, more recently, we've had ones like the VHS series or the Theater Bazaar. And since it is almost Halloween, obviously, we also have the Great Trick or Treat, which I know a lot of us, like myself, do watch every single year. And that one's also a prime example of sort of having sort of like a running theme that kind of goes through the entire film where, each story has to do with sort of the mythology of Halloween. And horror anthologies have been around for so long. I mean, you even go back to, like I mentioned the other day, with Mario Bava with Black Sabbath, for example. His great horror anthology film. You had the movie Asylum. You had Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, one that I think is actually very underrated. You even had ones, for example, like, technically Twilight Zone the movie. I mean, that's technically an anthology with different directors kind of handling different stories. Even though it was made for television, but still I sort of included, of course, John Carpenter did Body Bags, which again also included bringing in a couple other directors, Tobe Hooper being one of them. Obviously, my favorite horror anthology, which I think most of you know, is obviously George Romero's Creepshow, a film that I love. It's one of the films that really got me into horror. That's why I'm wearing my Creepshow shirt today and sort of showing off my Creepshow pillow. What made that one so special too is just the fact that it was obviously it was written by Stephen King, directed by George Romero, and each film is sort of almost like a morality play in a way. And it was very much influenced by the old EC comics. They did actually make into a feature film, Tales from the Crypt. That actually is a film that was done in the early 70s. That involved of horror, of course. Those were ones that were obviously inspired directly by EC Comics, and obviously we had the TV show Tales from the Crypt eventually. But as far as anthologies go, obviously Creepshow was very much inspired by EC Comics, and that was one that totally freaked me out as a kid. Especially the Crate. Like, I think it took me a long time to actually watch the Crate by myself. But I've talked about Creepshow enough over the years. I'm sure some of you know how much I absolutely love that film. It is one of my favorites. So I did want to take today and just sort of celebrate horror anthology films, because I think they are very much a part of horror history, and there is kind of something special about an anthology as well, that doing smaller stories but still sort of having it part of a greater whole, I think is something that really works well. Speaking of which, I'm long overdue with rewatching Creepshow. It's been a while. So again, I wanted to honor horror anthologies today. Definitely let me know one of your favorites, and as always, I really appreciate any recommendations. I'll be back here tomorrow for the next one in the countdown to Halloween, and as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.